Hello friends, this video is about tricky words. What are tricky words? Words become tricky when they can't be sounded out using normal phonics method. For example, the word dog is not tricky because it can be segmented into its phonics sounds d or g and then blended correctly into the word d or g, dog. So it's not a tricky word. However, if you try to sound out the word go, you would get g or, which sounds like go. The crucial thing is that tricky words cannot be sounded out but must be recognized as the whole word go. That is why fun games to help this recognition process are so important. Now, what order should the tricky words be taught in? So, the tricky words are normally taught in an order. This is based upon a mixture of their relative simplicity, that means with easier words at the start of the list, and also of their frequency in the English language. Children learning the most common words such as I and the. So, in Jolly Phonics, we have total 72 tricky words which are divided into 6 groups from simple to complex. Okay. Now, what are the 5 steps to teach tricky words? First is display those tricky words. Okay. You can display it on the wall of your classroom. Second step is explain what they are. Third step is learn through games. Fourth step is apply in writing. So once the child has learned the tricky word, we have to make sure that the child writes those tricky words. And the last point is highlight the tricky words on post-it notes before reading a book that has those tricky words in them. So that if the child is reading a page, make sure that you highlight all the tricky words before he reads the page. So now this video is all about the games which can be played so that we teach tricky words to the kids. And the first game says, the name is the ghost game. And what is the ghost game? In this game, we have lots of tricky words in a bag or in a box. And a group of children sit in a circle. Now, for example, we have 5 words in the bag and about 3 laminated flashcards of each one. So you can also have one flashcard that has the picture of a ghost on it. The children take it in turns to pick a card out of the bag and they try to read it. For example, the word is go. Then they pass the bag to the next child who picks another flashcard of the tricky word and they keep passing. But if someone picks out the ghost card, they shout boo. So they are the winner. Everyone else has to put their cards back in the bag and then they can start again. Coming to the second game. And the second game is magic camera game. This is a strategy to develop their visual memory. You show the children a flashcard of a tricky word or have it up on a screen or a board. You get the children to physically take a photo of it using a pretend camera and store the photo in their brains forever. The children will enjoy this magic camera game. Now the next game is very simple. Round the circle. The children, they can sit in a circle and you can give them a lot of flashcards of the tricky words and they will keep passing and reading the word. For example, the first word is no. So the child reads the word no and passes to the next child. So this way they read all the tricky words, and even if they do not know how to read, because it's a teamwork, they listen and they read, and by continuous practice they will also learn how to read that particular tricky word. Coming to the next. So the next game is more of fun. and a revised version of the previous game. Now the game's name is Beat the Clock Round the Circle. This is a version of the previous Round the Circle game but with a timer. You say something like, can we pass all of these tricky words around the circle in 2 minutes? Then you let the children get on with it and have a go. Speed challenges are great for many children as they introduce competition and engagement. And the next game is Swap Game. Now this is a classic cooperation game that can be used to teach many different skills. Give the children one tricky word, flashcard, get them to stand up and then go and find a partner. Read your partner's tricky word and then swap with them. Then go and find another partner and repeat. Try to interact with as many partners as you can. This is a good game for practice, and also you will hopefully find that more skillful children start to coach the less able in how to read the word. So if your partner doesn't know how to read the word, the child will tell how to read that word. So this way they are going to teach each other. So the children who know can teach the children who don't know. The next game is Secret Spies. And in this game you can make the children to sit in pairs, and as you show the flashcards, get them to whisper what they are to the child next to them, just like a secret spy. And our next game is again Snap Game. Now this is a tricky word version of the classic card game, the card game which we play. So what we can do is we can have lots of flashcards of few tricky words and get the children to deal out a pile to all the children who are playing. So everybody will have a pile of tricky words, and one by one they will take turn to put one card on the table and say, and then the next partner puts on one card on the top and says it. Continue until you get two the same, and the winner is the person who puts their hand on them first and shouts snap. And the next game is tricky word domino game. So what we can do is we can have some tricky words with domino spots on the back, and one child can roll the dice and then pick up a domino with that number of spot on, and then try to read the word which is written on that number. And the name of the game is Tricky Word Racetrack. You can make a racetrack on a piece of paper having squares. So maybe like 20 squares you have made, and on each square you have put the tricky word. Now the child can roll the dice, and whatever number comes he can jump up onto that number and read the word, and the winner is the player that gets to the finish line first. And the next game is Tricky Word Bingo. This is a very popular game that we see a lot in the schools. In this game, a group of about 6 children can have their bingo board with tricky words. And then there's a pot of tricky word flashcards in the middle of the table. They take in turns to pick a flashcard out of the pot, try to read it, and then see if they have it on their board. And if yes, then they place it on the word, and if not, they put it back. And the winner will be the person who fills their board first. And the next game is Jump the Lily Pads, which is an outdoor game. This is just the revised version of the game, racetrack game which we did on the paper. Now here, instead of paper, the game can be played outside on the ground, where they play a game just like the racetrack game. They roll a big dice and then jump down the hoops until they get to the finishing line, and every time they jump they have to say the word, and the winner will be the person to reach the end. And last game is Against the Clock. Speed and fluency are very important when it comes to reading. So this game is great for developing these qualities. This is good in partners. So we can pair up the children and we can have a timer, and the other child can have the pile of tricky words, and you play it as a 1 minute game. So in 1 minute they have to read as many as they can, and then they can pass it to their partner. So these are the 12 games which can be played to teach tricky words to the children, and I hope you like them. Thank you.